The temps are rising, and that means the sap is flowing. Join us as we celebrate one of the sweetest times of the season and find out how you and your family can take advantage of this Vermont tradition. Good afternoon, and thanks for stopping by Across the Fence. I'm Keith Silva, in for Amy Finley. We're having a mini maple marathon this week. Tomorrow, Amy is in to find out what maple really tastes like. Really? And then I'll see you again on Wednesday to talk with a graduate student and the director of Proctor Maple Research about wildlife in the sugar bush, or when animals like maple too. We're kicking off the week with one of my favorite guests, the executive director of the Vermont Sugar Makers Association, Allison Hope. Note to all past and future guests, Allison's favorite status may have something to do with the fact that she brings something sweet with her when she visits. We'll get to that in a moment. Allison, thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
The Vermont Maple Makers Association kind of says it all in the title, but what is it?
The Vermont Maple Sugar Makers Association is one of the oldest agricultural associations in the U.S. So it's been around long before I have been around, since 1893. And it really exists to preserve and protect the brand of Vermont maple, but also market for sugar makers directly to consumers, advocate for the sugaring industry in Vermont and producers and anyone who's connected to that industry. Partner, there's so many partners at the maple table, it's pretty amazing, and Vermont is really supportive. And then educate, and we educate consumers, and we also do a lot of producer-facing education through our food safety certification program, through our conference, and through a lot of other means online and in print.
More than just marketing and getting the word out about maple.
Much more.
Much more. Big week on Fence, big week coming up for your organization. What is coming up this weekend?
So it is our favorite weekend of the year, and to all who celebrate sugaring season, which should really be all of you, right?
Yep,
It is Maple Open House Weekend. So we call it the best weekend of spring. It's a statewide event where sugar makers and associated businesses across the state open their doors and welcome people in. Sugar makers love to tell a story, and boy, do they have lots of stories to tell and lots of things for you to taste. And so it's a great weekend to take advantage, whether you're coming from away or you're going to be a tourist in your own state.
VermontMaple.org. Go there and everything will open up for you.
The possibilities are endless. We have itineraries for you. We have maps. We have links. And we have phone numbers. We call ourselves, at our lean organization of 3, we call ourselves the 211 of Maple during this season. So you call us, we'll have an answer for you.
And it is good to check, first of all, if a sugar maker in your area is participating, because not every sugar maker participates, but you have all the listings and you'll know where to go and who to talk to.
We have all the listings. There are a few places that are only open one of the days, but the vast majority are open both days of that weekend. And some of our sugar makers are actually open the following weekend. And so we will help announce those as well. But the folks who are participating in Maple Open House Weekend are next weekend. All that information is online.
VermontMaple.org. How does someone become a member of your organization? Do you have to be a sugar maker?
You do not have to be a sugar maker. The vast majority of our members are sugar makers or bulk buyers or equipment dealers. But we have a lot of folks who care about maple. We have a Friend of Vermont Maple membership that is just $25 a year. You will still get our amazing newsletter with stories and educational information. Invites to all sorts of things through e-newsletters. So we have folks who are in sugaring families or are retired sugar makers or are backyard sugar makers or folks who live in other states who just want to support what we do here in Vermont. That's so amazing.
Wonderful, wonderful. You mentioned partners at the table. Everybody likes maple. How do you work with organizations like the Agency of Agriculture or UVM Extension?
Well, so we work with Agency of Agriculture in so many different ways. We just had the governor's tree tapping up at April's Maple in Canaan, the far reaches of Vermont, the other week. And so we really make sure to invite folks to that event, make it feel celebratory, work with the agency to suggest some sugaring operations that might be good hosts. More recently, we did a cost share with the Agency of Agriculture to order Act 31 signs, really nice metal signs. So Act 31 is that sort of hold harmless agreement. If you are participating in agritourism in Vermont and you post these signs, you have less liability as a farm inviting tourists on. And so the Agency of Agriculture knows it's really important to get those signs out, and they worked with us to open a portal where we could take those orders from anyone who's a farmer in Vermont and the Agency of Agriculture would help pay for that. UVM Extension is just a long-standing, really important partner of the association. The maple specialist at UVM Extension, Mark Iselhart, is an advisory member on our board and is an important collaborator on our winter conference, and we connect with him regularly, whether it's about the quality lab or research or any of the information that he prints that we want to make sure to get to sugar makers. So we couldn't do our work without either of them.
Excellent. We are getting our cooler nights and some 40 and 50, and I think I saw a 60-degree day mixed in there somewhere.
We don't want too many of those.
No, not too many of those. Not yet.
Yeah.
What have you heard from members? I know this is an unfair question of all unfair questions for sugar makers. What are you hearing about the season so far?
So I asked somebody at the governor's tree tapping about the season, and I don't think this is just a Franklin County answer, but this is where I hear it from,
Okay.
is how are you thinking about the season? And they say it's going to be an amazing season. Because as a sugar maker, and whether you're a farmer or forester, or you live somewhere within that space, you have to be an eternal optimist. Mm-hmm. It is going to be an amazing season. And the sap has already started to flow. People are super excited. It looks like maybe they'll get a small break in the weather when it cools down a little bit, which everybody needs.
Anyone who sugars, whether you use buckets or pipelines, the Vermont Maple Sugar Makers Association is for you.
It is a broad tent, and the folks who have availed themselves of the technology and become more efficient have really been able to mitigate the effects of climate change over the last 10 or 15 years, and I'm sure you'll hear more about that from Proctor. And the folks who use buckets, as long as you're using food-safe buckets, that's aluminum or stainless steel, then that's great as well. And so we'll pay homage to the heritage, but on a larger scale, if you really want to make a living at it, probably it's going to look more like vacuum systems and tubing. And either way, you're really just trying to make sure that you have a healthy sugar bush and a biodiverse forest, and that you're caring for things in the way that is going to make them last for future generations.
Yeah, we talked with Tim. Again, now I'm spoiling our series. We talked with Tim, and one of the big things that he mentioned is that, you know, it's all about the woods and caring for the woods and caring for the trees. And in that episode, we talk about interactions with wildlife, and that's a thing that happens that sugar makers have to deal with, animals chewing on things or knocking things down. So let's bring it back to Maple Open House weekend coming up this coming weekend, Saturday and Sunday. You've hit on it already. Why is this so important? Is it raise money, or is it just raising awareness, or what is it doing? Are we just here trying to sell syrup there, Allison?
It is raising awareness. It is education. There are still, believe it or not, as Vermonters, there are still plenty of people in the world who don't know where syrup comes from, or don't know that maple cream, as sugar makers make it, doesn't have dairy products in it, or isn't a skin softener. I mean, it would be an expensive skin softener, but I much prefer it on something. And so it really is just building of excitement for sugaring season, and also showing people that maple syrup is a pantry staple. And so the physics of maple syrup is that it can show up in 4 different forms. It can show up as a syrup, it can show up as granulated sugar, or a cream, or a candy. And so syrup and sugar make great substitutes for anything, any recipe that calls for sweetener, whether it's a homemade pizza dough, vinaigrette, curry sauce, you name it, you can put maple syrup in it, and we want to talk about it. And sugar makers have such this deep heritage of caring for the woods and making this amazing food product. They want to share it with everybody.
And lest we should say, it's also a party. Like, it's a good time.
Oh, it is like a statewide party. That is such a great way to look at it. It is a sugaring season celebration, and it is a statewide party. Come one, come all. We don't charge.
That's right. And
it's a free party.
On the website, vermontmaple.org, you have, you know, sort of listings of what people are doing. So sugar on snow parties, things like that, you know. Donuts,
pickles, you name it. Creamies, of course, because we couldn't do it without a creamy. Right. There are no end. Some folks will take some of the recipe cards that we have, or the recipes from our website, or their own website, and do tester recipes, sort of like we have here.
Yes, you're leading us right. Perfect segue. Right. Look, you've done this before. You have brought us, as I said, favored guest status. not only do you have all this information on the website, but you have recipes. And what is this here, Allison?
So that is a maple gooey butter cake, which sounds exactly like it is. Like, we don't skimp, it's not fussy. It's probably not the most attractive thing I've put on this lovely vintage plate, but I will tell you, when you make it, your house smells like a vat of Vermont butter and maple syrup. And what could be cozier? So Maple Open House Weekend is a party for the state. I would say that gooey maple butter cake is a party for your mouth.
Excellent. There's other more adult beverages and adult things on the website for recipes. So one thing you asked me to bring was some ice.
Yes,
so
please.
I brought some ice.
All right, we're not quite ready for that.
Okay.
But I brought the fixings for a Ginger Maple Mule, which a recipe comes from Butternut Mountain Farm, which is one of our partners and members over in Morrisville, Vermont. And this, I tested it out before I got here, but not just before, obviously. This feels like springtime in a mug. And so those who are cocktail aficionados, I'm just going to apologize for my use of a spoon as a muddler, because that is where we're at these days. Couldn't find the muddler, must have lost it during COVID. So we're going to muddle some fresh mint leaves in the bottom of this UVM glass, because of course, what else would you use on Across the Fence? And so we're just going to get the oils going in those, make sure that we can taste it.
Excellent.
And then we're going to add some fresh lime juice.
I can smell that.
I know, right?
I can smell
so good. We're going to add some fresh lime juice that I squeezed just before I came here, so about a ½ ounce of that in each. We are going to use some Brannan Golden Delicate syrup.
Excellent. We're just about out of time, so.
Okay. Here we go.
There we go. 1.
And some gin.
2. Great.
And now, are you ready with the ice? We'll stir this, and then we'll pour
Am
the
I
ginger
putting the
beer
ice
on
in now?
top. You are. Well.
I'm going to add that a little bit.
Stir that up. All right, you can add the ice to that.
You can find this recipe on vermontmaple.org. Oh, there's my ice all over the place.
There we go. And we're going to pour some ginger beer over it.
Excellent. Perfect way to end the program.
Cheers.
Allison, thank you so much for joining us. That's our show for today. I want to thank the crew behind the scenes here at WCX who always keep it tight, straight, and downhill. I'm Keith Silva. This is Across the Fence. Thanks for being part of our family.